All right, now that it's been a few hours, I want to hear from Bears fans. Who do you blame for the Bears' 30-16 loss to the Ravens? Let us know in the comment section. More thoughts after the Bears' four-game winning streak has come to an end. I'm Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. I've got more analysis and some big picture takes from the Bears' 30-16 loss to the Ravens. You know, when we're doing it live, it's kind of just in the moment type of reaction. Don't kind of get to absorb everything. So now that it's been a few hours, I wanted to hop back on the mic and do another episode here. Let's talk Caleb Williams here as we dive a little further into what happened today. You know, the raw stat line is really not too bad, right? I mean, 25 of 38, 285. Had a nice 22-yard scramble at the end of the first half, but that interception was a backbreaker. It just was. You know, you cut it to 3. They pin you back inside your 5. I said it before the play. Maybe you dial up a play-action shot, but instead it was kind of a just throw over the middle, a dig to Rome Badunze, and you know, it could have been completed. I thought he had, maybe a quarter of a step, but I thought he threw it a little late, and it wasn't pinpoint accuracy, and Nate Wiggins was able to jump it. Caleb was asked after the game what happened on that interception. He said, yeah, it was a good read. Rome, man-to-man with the guy that caught the pick. I just didn't give a good ball to Rome. Ben Johnson was asked, and remember, they haven't seen the film or anything after this. He said, yeah, I didn't quite see. I would have to check it out on film just one more time. Just in my mind, there might have been another option that we could have gotten to. I have seen the play again. He could have gone to Kyle Monunga in the flat. That was there. And I think in that situation, look, I get Rome's your guy. If you're two things. If you're going to throw it, it's got to be a tick earlier. It's got to be a tick earlier, more like when he's coming out of his break than, deeper on the route, because it was one of those where he was going to have to rifle it in there perfectly, and, it kind of just threw, not a floater, but just kind of a normal speed ball, and Wiggins made a great play and jumped it. So I do want to give him credit. But number two, I think backed up like that, I don't mind a play-action shot, but I think, when I say a shot play, I'm talking about like a post or a go route, something like that. I think attacking the middle of the field in that situation backed up is pretty risky if it's decent coverage, which clearly it was. I think in that spot, if Rome's your primary read and it's not there, it's not wide open, you got to get back to your running back. And I actually thought Caleb did a good job of getting back to the check down today a few times. That was something we criticized him for last week. But the bottom line is you can't say, well, he was good outside of that play. Every play matters. And I did think for the most part he was better in this game than he was last week. But in general, he has to be better. Now, I'm not going to be like some of the people in the comments saying, bench him, he sucks, play Tyson. We got to see this play out a lot more. Because to me, when you make that move, it's pretty difficult to come back from. So I'm a far way off from that. This team had won 4 in a row coming into today. Not a great day, not ideal, but I can also sit here and say that he needs to be better. When you're decimated on defense, you got to put up more than 16 points. And, there's plenty of blame to go around. This game isn't just about Caleb. I thought the Ravens won in all 3 phases, but you needed your quarterback to be better today. Can't throw that interception. Left a few other plays out there. It's just got to be better, and it's frustrating that you didn't get better from 1-8 today. All right, we will be live tomorrow for Overreaction Monday at 4 o'clock Central Time. We'll also have an episode up on the channel in the morning, so plenty to discuss, more from this game, looking ahead to Cincinnati. I'm sure some trade buzz, so a lot to get to here on Chicago Bears Now, so hit that subscribe button. The content never stops here on this channel. Okay, number 2. Is it time to trade for a cornerback? We briefly mentioned this in the postgame show, but I want to dive a little bit deeper. I thought Tyler Huntley, for the majority of this game, looked very comfortable and was just carving your secondary up. Now, I thought Todd Monken had a good game plan, some quick throws, some boots. Guys were just getting open. And some of that's the game plan. Some of that, though, is you're playing Nashawn Wright, Jalen Jones, and Nick McCloud. And look, Nashawn Wright, when he's been like your second outside corner and your third overall corner, you can live with that. When he's your clear CB1, not just CB1, clear CB1, that's a problem. and Jalen Jones, who, to my knowledge, hadn't taken a single snap on defense all year, that's a big ask. And Nick McCloud has not been good hardly at all. I gave him credit the first month of the year for at least scrapping a little bit, but he's just not a starting caliber corner. You got 3 deep backups, for sure 2 in Jalen Jones and Nick McCloud. Nashawn Wright has done some good things, but that's just, you're not going to win many games with that unit out there. Now, the question is, okay, a couple things. One, when's Tyreek coming back? Is he back this week? If he is, okay, maybe you hold off. If he's not, you don't want to make a panic trade either, because that's kind of the potential dilemma here. What you don't want to do is trade a real asset, which is what I would call a 5th or more. If it's a 6th or a 7th or a pick swap, even if it doesn't pay off to some playoff run or something, not the end of the world. But if you get up a 5th or a 4th and this team kind of doesn't have a great year the rest of the way, you'd rather not give that up. So I think that's kind of the dilemma in after losing this game. Had you won this game, with the clear corner issues, it'd be easier to pull the trigger. Be like, hey, we're 5-2. We got to go. We got to make a move and shore up that back end a little bit more. So it is a little bit of a tough call. A couple more thoughts, including some names to monitor at corner after we tell you guys about our sponsor. That, of course, is Prize Picks, daily fantasy made easy at prizepicks.com/CLNS. You and I make decisions every day, but being right on Prize Picks can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. I'm on a cold streak, but when you get up $600, you can afford one of those. We're going to get back on the saddle after I lost a 2-player lineup earlier today. The way PrizePicks works is simple. You pick more or less on player stat projections on 2 to 6 player lineups, and if you hit, you win money. Some lineups you can turn into 2,000 times your entry. That's right, $10 can turn into 20,000 with Prize Picks. Little 2-player lineup I like for Monday's action. I'll take more on Marcus Mariota's longest rush, 11.5 yards. He's starting for the injured Jaden Daniels. Rashee Rice, more than 66.5 receiving yards. They were peppering him in his first game back. You would think that's going to continue for Kansas City and Mahomes and those boys. So $20 lineup to win $60. Standard 2-player entry right there. Get started right now with Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Back to this cornerback discussion. It's a tough thing because, again, big picture, you don't want to necessarily give up an asset if it's for like a rental or something like that. But on the flip side, if you're trying to make a push this season, you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins lurking next week. And I can hear it now. They lost to the Jets. Yeah, they also put up 38 points. Like, that's going to be a tough game on the road. It just is. If you don't think it is, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins against Nashawn Wright, Nick McCloud, and Josh Blackwell and Jalen Jones, that's a problem. Like, that is just a problem. And, look, I don't know if trading for any of these guys solves that problem, but I think all of these players would be upgrades. Now, Michael Carter's dealing with a little something, so I actually don't know his situation. I think the question now, too, is do you go for more of a nickel or an outside guy? And the one player on this list that probably intrigues me the most for a variety of reasons is Alontae Taylor, because A, he knows Dennis Allen's defense, so that would be a seamless transition. B, he can play nickel and outside. He's got that versatility. So if and when Kyler Gordon does come back, okay, you can kick him outside. He can be he could just be like a CB4, right? Like, or maybe Nashawn Wright goes to the bench and he becomes your number 2 outside corner opposite of Tyreek Stevenson. Like, you would have options there. Riq Woolen's really just an outside guy. Roger McCreary is really just a nickel. Douglas is really just an outside guy. Carter's mostly a nickel. So I think Alontae Taylor, given he knows the scheme and his positional versatility at nickel and outside corner, I think he's the guy that intrigues me the most. So then comes the question, what does it cost? Can you get him for like a 6? I'd hate to have to give up a 4 or a 5. I would not do a 4. I would consider a 5. But it's a big decision you potentially have to make, and certainly Tyreek Stevenson's status would factor in. If they think he's coming back this week, he might just give it another week and see how it goes. Because Chase and Higgins are going to play primarily on the boundary, especially Higgins. But you get either of those 2 guys on Nick McCloud or whoever plays slot corner, that could be a disaster because he's having trouble keeping up with just kind of normal wide receivers right now. Should the Bears trade for a cornerback? Type T for trade or P for pass. Let us know in the comments section of this video. Should the Bears trade for a corner? And injuries continue to pile up. They just keep stacking. 3 more players left on Sunday. Luther Burden with a concussion. Typically concussions, you're going to miss the next game as well. So barring something surprising, Burden's probably going to be out against Cincinnati. Shamar Turner left with the knee injury. That is not what you want to see from your second-round rookie. And then Dominic Robinson hurt his ankle and did not return on the opening freaking kickoff. I mean, we should have known that opening kickoff of a penalty on the return and a Dom Robin injury was just a bad omen for the next 60 minutes to come. That was on top of Roschon Johnson not playing today, Tyreek Stevenson not playing today, Cole Kmet not playing today as well. And then, oh, by the way, you've got 6 players on short-term IR, including some key ones. Jalen Johnson, no idea if he's returning this year. Kyler Gordon, out for the foreseeable future. Braxton Jones, he's out. Karan Amagaji, have heard no update on him. No idea what's going on there. Austin Booker and Eamon Ogbongbemiga have their practice windows open. And Booker specifically, you've got until Tuesday to activate him. Now, you would think they were going to activate him regardless by Tuesday, but now that Dominique Robinson and Shamar Turner got banged up, don't know the severity of those injuries, you would think that's almost a no-brainer, that he's going to be back and active starting next week. But they have until Tuesday to activate Booker. If they do not, he's out for the season. So I would be stunned if Austin Booker isn't activated by this coaching staff and placed on the 53. Again, you have to make a corresponding move to make that happen. But actually right now you don't. You have an open roster spot technically because remember you put Gordon and Jones on short-term IR and you only signed Jonathan Ford to the 53. So activating Austin Booker seems like an obvious move, and then you go from there. So that's my prediction on what that happens there. Whether or not Booker can help you in a major way remains to be seen. This pass rush continues to be not very effective. Montez Sweat did have a strip sack that the Bears couldn't recover, but other than that, we're not getting much pressure at all on Tyler Huntley. All right, that's going to do it for Chicago Bears now. Tough loss today, but got to turn the page, and I get it. There's going to be a lot of noise around Caleb Williams. I'm seeing it all already, and I'm acknowledging he has to play better. I'm nowhere near wanting to go the nuclear option, which is Tyson Bagent. Said this live. I'll say it now. You extended Tyson Bagent for 2 years. You've given yourself time to consider that option down the road. We are 7 games in to the Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams experiment. I'm not punting on it 7 games in. Be one thing if you were 1-6, 0-7, and it was just embarrassingly bad. It's not good enough, but I don't think we're at some DEFCON 9 situation. So I said you had to split Baltimore and Cincinnati. Still have a chance to do that. Let's see if you can. Let's see if you can play better and go from there. Subscribe, bear down, more content tomorrow.